Recording. Municipal records repository. Same corridor. Same flickering light at the far end. Same smell of paper and concrete. Hannah found the access point without hesitation. She remembered exactly how we got in before, which I did not. I followed her. The objective is to locate the 1994 unprocessed archive box and open the sealed envelopes we left behind in Season 2. We found the box in the same position we left it. Shelf 7, third row from the floor, pushed back against the wall behind two labeled boxes that were in front of it. Unlabeled, unprocessed, exactly as it was. The 3 catalog cards we took in Season 2 are gone. Our slots in the box where they were sitting. Everything else is untouched, or appears untouched. I checked the dust on the shelf before I pulled the box. The layer in front of the box is consistent, accumulated, undisturbed. But the dust on top of the box itself is thinner than it should be relative to the shelf layer. A marginal difference. The kind of thing you notice when you're looking for it. Someone has handled this box since we were last here. I told Hannah. She looked at the shelf for a moment, then at the box. Then she lifted it down and carried it to the reading table in the center of the room. The box contains one sealed compartment at the bottom where the catalog cards were, empty now. We took them. And a second compartment at the back, separated by a cardboard divider where the sealed envelopes were. 3 of them. Still there. Still sealed, as far as I could tell at a glance. Hannah set the box on the table and we both looked at the envelopes without touching them for a moment. They are cream-colored. Heavier stock than standard paper. The same weight and surface texture as O'Connor's document pages. No labels on the exterior. No names, no dates, no identifying marks. Just 3 envelopes of identical size, sealed with a strip of adhesive that has aged to the color of old tape. I took the device out, 2.5 seconds. Slower than the 2-second baseline we've held since the headland. The envelopes are archive significant, but the contact history here is different. Less concentrated, more distributed across time. Hannah said, "In order." I asked her what she meant. She said, "Open them in the order they were packed. The compartment has a sequence. They were stacked, bottom to top." I hadn't noticed a sequence. I looked at the compartment. She was right. The envelopes are not lying flat. They're slightly angled. The bottom one pressed further back than the top one. A faint impression on the cardboard divider showing where each one rested. Someone packed these in a specific order. Bottom, middle, top. I took the bottom envelope first. The seal broke cleanly. The adhesive had dried enough over 30 years that it released without tearing the paper. Inside, a single folded document. Typed, not handwritten. 2 pages, folded together, the typing on one side only. I unfolded it. The top of the first page. No name, no date, no header. Just text, beginning mid-paragraph. I read the opening line, then the second line. The sentence was continuing something, grammatically dependent on a preceding clause that wasn't here. Page 2 of O'Connor's handwritten log ended mid-sentence. This text completes that sentence. These are pages 3 and 4. The handwritten original was removed from the binding, and these typed pages, a transcription or a continuation or something in between, were placed here in their place. I read the opening lines silently first. Then I started reading aloud for the recorder. The typed pages pick up exactly where page 2 of the handwritten document ends. The grammatical continuation is precise. Whoever typed this had the handwritten original in front of them, or had memorized the exact closing words of page 2. The subject of the sentence that page 2 was building toward is now visible. O'Connor had been writing about the pulse, about the moment he understood that the pulse was not produced by the archive. And now the sentence completes. The source of the pulse is the investigator. I do not mean this as a hypothesis. I mean it as a conclusion reached after 12 years of documentation. The archive does not generate the signal. It learned to record a signal that certain people already carried. The network grew up around us, not the other way around. I stopped reading and looked at Hannah. She said, Keep going. The typed pages continue. O'Connor writes about the correspondent for the first time in specific terms, not their name, never their name, but their behavior in detail. He writes, "The correspondent arrives without announcement and leaves without record. I have searched every archive system I can access for evidence of their registration and found nothing. No card, no slot, no dates. The correspondent either predates the registry system or exists outside it by design." He writes about the time disorder, the conversations the correspondent references before they occur. He is more specific here than in any of the Season 1 journals. They have referenced the contents of documents I had not yet found. They have described locations I had not yet visited. On 2 occasions, they have told me the outcome of an investigation before I began it. I have tested these predictions. They were accurate. I do not know how to record this except to say the correspondent does not experience the sequence of events in the same order that I do. And then, near the bottom of the second typed page, a paragraph I read twice before I continued. The correspondent told me that the condition is not rare, that there are always a small number of people in any era who carry the signal without knowing it, that the archive exists because of them, because the first of them wrote something down and left it where another could find it. They told me that the condition is heritable in ways that have nothing to do with blood, that it transfers through proximity, through shared investigation, through the act of noticing the same thing at the same time. They told me that I was not the first person they had positioned, that they had been doing this for longer than I could verify, that the network I was investigating was the most recent iteration of something much older. I put the typed pages down on the table. The second envelope. Inside, a photograph. Black and white, slightly overexposed on the left side where the light source was strongest. The image shows 2 figures standing on the platform of the train station, the same decommissioned municipal terminal from Season 1. I recognize the ironwork on the platform canopy, the particular angle of the platform edge, the station clock on the far wall reading just past 11. The photograph was taken from the doorway at the far end of the platform. One of the figures is identifiable. Martin O'Connor, I recognize him from the photographs in the Season 1 documents, the same build, the same coat, the way he stands with his weight slightly forward. He is facing the camera, or facing the direction the photograph was taken from, though his eyes are not quite meeting the lens. He looks like a man mid-conversation. The second figure is beside him, slightly closer to the camera than O'Connor. Their faces turned away, not dramatically, not as though they are hiding, but as though they turned at the moment the photograph was taken. A natural movement, a fraction of a second's bad timing, or deliberate. The figure's posture is still. Their coat is different from O'Connor's, lighter material, different cut. One hand is visible at their side. The hand is empty. I looked at the photograph for a long time. I turned it over. Nothing on the reverse. No date, no caption, no identification. Just the image. Hannah was looking at it too. She said, 1923. That's the platform door that key 47 doesn't open. I said yes. I recognized it. She said someone was there with him. Someone took this photograph. There are 3 people we know about at this location. I looked at the image again, O'Connor. The figure whose face is turned, and whoever held the camera, the third envelope. Inside, a single catalog card. I recognized the format immediately. Same proportions, same field layout as every investigator card in the Origin Index. But this card has never been in an index. The stock is different, slightly whiter, slightly newer, the typing a different weight than the system-produced cards in the Origin Index. The ink sits higher on the surface rather than pressing into the fiber. This card was produced outside the standard system by a different mechanism at a different time. I read the fields: subject status active, dates ongoing, node multiple source, no name in the subject field. In every other card I have seen, the subject field carries a name. an investigator's name, a location name, a record type. This field carries a description, as though whoever produced this card could not supply a name or chose not to. Status active, present tense, not historical, not closed, active now. Dates, ongoing, not a range with a start year, not a span, ongoing, as though the dates field cannot contain what it needs to contain. Node multiple, not a specific node, multiple locations. The correspondent has been registered as active across the entire network simultaneously or sequentially, or in some configuration the card format can't adequately represent. Source blank, same as the pre-registry card on the headland. No source coordinate, no cataloging location. The correspondent exists in the system without having been cataloged by any known node. I set the card down next to the typed pages in the photograph. 3 envelopes, 3 objects, and together they document something the system has been tracking for at least 30 years, possibly much longer, without naming it, without fully explaining it, without resolving it. I read the typed pages aloud again, from the beginning, slowly, while Hannah listened. When I finished the second time, she was quiet, looking at the photograph, looking at the card. Then she said, "I've met them." I looked at her. She wasn't looking at me. She was still looking at the photograph of the figure whose face was turned away. She said it again, quietly. "I've met them."